After the 5K, I had even bigger goals after the 5K. What was I going to do next? Nothing was going to stop me. Well, that's what I like to believe anyway. Life does tend to get in the way. I continued on my journey and started working for Weight Watchers by leading my own meetings in 2017. That's right, they hired me. I loved the results I got. Finally, for the first time in my life, I was happy with myself. In March 2017, in addition to working for Weight Watchers, having my own bookkeeping business, having our own hoof care business, we then started our own clothing boutique. This was a very time-consuming project. I was being pulled in every direction, but I kept pushing forward with all the balls in the air at one time. I didn't, however, sign up for any more races. That dream took a back burner. I had a plan to grow my business, make all my family's dreams a reality, and gave myself a timeline to make that happen. Then in December 2017, we found out some of the most wonderful, surprising news. We were expecting again. We were thrilled. We sent out the announcements on our Christmas cards. We were making plans. The pictures you're seeing now in January of us in the waiting room at our first doctor's appointment was probably the last time I felt completely whole inside. Look at our smiles, the sparkles in our eyes. Literally did we know that moments later after that picture, all those sparkles would turn to complete darkness. They told us things weren't progressed as far as they should be, that we needed to come back for more tests and see if everything was okay. After weeks of wondering, hoping and praying that everything was okay, and test after test after test, the doctor said it wasn't. He told me he wanted me to go to the hospital and I quote, "take care of it." I refused. I lost it right there in his office, and I said, if I can't have my baby, then my brother needs to come get it. Why I said those words, I still have no idea, and I can see the pain in my husband and my doctor, whom I love dearly. I could see the pain in their faces. My doctor told me he would give me 10 days. If nothing happened within those 10 days, I had to go to the hospital. On day 8, and at the time, I barely remember those days. The date definitely was not a forefront in my mind. But on the 8th day, on the exact anniversary of my brother's death, February 7th, 2018, I miscarried our baby at home. My brother came, he got my baby, and he carried baby C home with him. My world crumbled. Our lives stood still, and we simply tried to survive. I gave up on everything. I kept it together as much as I could for sweet Josie, my loving husband. But that's really not saying much. I quit Weight Watchers. It took me months to get my boutique going again. In November 2018, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she seriously to this day has no idea, I'm sure, what she did for me with these words. But she told me we needed a goal. She told me we needed to plan for something. So we decided we were going to do the Disney Princess Half Marathon in February. This is what I needed to get back in the game. I started somewhat training. Not doing as much as I should, but doing more than I had before. January came and I did a 10-mile run on a track. And let me just tell you how tedious that is, going around and around and around. But I did it. And afterwards, I felt like I could do anything. I never thought I would ever run that far. I told Colin that day that I thought anything farther than a half was stupid. I mean, why would people run that far? I told him I was going to do the half marathon, and then that was it. I would never do anything after a 10K. I had no idea how the next couple of weeks would change me inside and out. I had no idea what was about to happen, how it would affect me and my family. I had no idea what running would mean to me. 2 weeks before my half marathon trip, I found an ultra expeditions race at Seminole Canyon State Park called Border to the Badlands. We decided it would be a fun family trip and I would run the 10K. I mean, that's only 6.2 miles, and I just did a 10-miler, right? It would be a good run before my half, which was the very next weekend. We traveled over 8 hours to the state park, and things just didn't go as planned, but we managed to make the most of it. We were setting up camp when this couple came up to camp beside us. Sarah was super sweet, and I could tell right away she was a runner. See, at this point, I look like anything but a runner. I've gained weight, but here I am. I was gonna do it. I was trying not to let myself get caught up in the comparison trap. Sarah asked me what I was running, and I'm sure I probably mumbled 10K under my breath. She seemed excited about that and was just so sweet about everything we talked about. I asked her what she was running, and she said the 50 and just kept talking. I'm not sure if it didn't register, if I thought she was joking, but I seriously just think I thought I heard her wrong. Her race was to start way before mine, so I didn't see her the next morning. After some more issues that morning and lots of tears shed and giving myself every reason not to go, I was on my way to the start line. I rode with two ladies I had met in the bathroom, for goodness sakes. They asked me what I was running, and again I mumbled 10K. They freaked out. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I was taken aback. I was like, yeah, what are you running? They said the 5K, and I assured them that that was no joke and to take pride that they were out there doing it. I then laughed and said, yeah, the chick next to me last night said she was doing the 50. You're like, oh yeah, the 50 milers started early. I'm like, excuse me, what? The 50 milers? That's a thing? Not possible. They told me it was definitely a thing. I was in complete shock. I had no idea such a thing existed, and no idea why anyone would be that insane. I got to the start line as the starting horn blew, and I was off. I had no idea how rough this terrain was going to be, nor was I prepared for it. My street shoes were not the best idea. I also was not prepared for the impact that this place would have on me physically or mentally. I had never run a trail race before, and this place was just shy of being magical. As I ran along the cliff looking down at the Rio Grande, all the while my watch kept telling me, "Welcome to Mexico." A sense of complete and utter panic came over me. I couldn't tell where I was supposed to go. Either the trail wasn't marked well at all, or maybe I was just too discombobulated to really tell where I was supposed to go. I felt like I was all alone. There was no phone service at all. I couldn't see a definite path in any direction. There was just rocks everywhere I looked. I just stopped. I took a deep breath. I looked at this magnificent place I had the privilege to be standing in, and I just decided to be there in that moment. All the sadness, the darkness, and the chaos could just wait. I closed my eyes, and as before, I said, "Brother, please run with me." And just like before, he was there. This time, he was in front. I opened my eyes and we took off. I no longer thought about where I was, which way I needed to go, how I couldn't tell where the trail was supposed to be. I just ran. I just followed. I ran and was guided by no other explanation than my big brother was guiding me himself. As I came around the canyon, I looked across the massive hole in the ground, and on the other side, I saw this tiny little person. I told myself, "There's Sarah." I didn't see her that morning, so I had no idea what she was wearing, but I knew it had to be her, and I knew I needed to get to the other side of that canyon as well, and that's exactly what I did. I finished the 10K, and I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Now, you keep in mind, that weight, it had been attached to my now spaghetti legs, but that's okay. I felt great. That 6.2 miles was way more intense than the 10 miles I had run on that track before. The terrain made all the difference, and unlike everyone else who finished the race, my day wasn't over. See, Colin didn't know where the finish line was, and we had no cell service, so off to walking back to camp I went. 2 miles away. A few hours later, Sarah came in, and her feet did not hit the ground from her car before she was asking me how I did. I was like, wait, crazy lady, you just ran 50 miles and you want to know how my Peasley little 10K went? Yep, that's what she asked. She chatted with me and answered all my questions at the same time. She was exhausted and packing her stuff. I was so thankful for those few little moments I got to spend with her. She made more difference in my life than I am sure she will ever realize. You see, people don't realize that you never know what people are going through, and your words mean more than you know. Taking 5 minutes to have a conversation with someone and taking an interest in them could be life-changing. And in that moment, it was life-changing for me. I thought all day about what I experienced on that trail, what I thought about Sarah, and the short conversation that we had and all that she accomplished that day. And I thought, you know what? I want to do that. I thought, I can do that. And then I thought, I am gonna do that.